Thank you, everyone. Good afternoon. It's great to be here in Dubai. I've been coming here for roughly 10 years annually for a customer event, and it feels like this is a perfect place for me to talk about speed of change and outpacing change in a city where you can literally see the progress year by year just by looking at the skyline. And I'm sure if you live here, you see it even faster than that. So I don't have to talk to this community, to this city about the need to adapt, the need to change, and the opportunities that arrive when you embrace that change. So what I'm going to detail today in three parts, I'm going to first talk about outpacing change and what we mean at Oracle by that, why we think it's critical for all of our customers, for your businesses, not just to thrive, but in some cases to survive. Because if you aren't embracing that change, your competitors, and even people who you don't believe are competitors today, are looking to disrupt your marketplaces through that change. The second is how you use Oracle as your partner through our applications or through our cloud to be able to help you deliver and drive that business process change to adapt and modify your business. And the last will be, hopefully by the end, to show you that the time is now. And in doing this, it will not just be myself presenting, but we'll have three of our customers up talking about their own journey, talking about what their business is like, what their particular challenges are, how they are partnering with Oracle, and how they're using technology outside of Oracle as well to really adopt and move for that change. And I would invite those of you, we have those customers, we have many more customers online that have talked about the same themes of change going forward, because really at this stage, our products have matured to the point that regardless of which industry you're in, which part of the world, whether you're a public sector or a commercial company, a large company, a small company, a company who's come from EBS or PeopleSoft or JD Edwards or Siebel, we have customers just like you who've already started that transformation to the cloud, and in many, many, many cases already finished that transformation of the cloud and receiving real benefits. So we're going to try to express that to you to give you that background as well. So let's start by jumping into it. Acceleration of change. And this is really around us all day, every day from a business perspective. Brand new business models. The expectations of your customers are changing, and therefore putting pressure on the roles and responsibilities that either you have internal to your organization or external to your organization. And then the people in your organization themselves are changing as a next generation of workforce comes forward with very different thoughts about what their careers are going to be, or at least different thoughts than my generation were, and probably different thoughts than the generation prior to mine as well. So you have this dynamic, and the overarching dynamic that we see throughout all of our customer base is when our customers implemented their ERP systems. Many people did that to get over the Y2K problem, if people remember that. But from that point in time, the ERP, the HR systems have aged and have stagnated to some point. And what's happened is you have this built-up demand for speed of business process change. You have a built-up demand to better service the expectations of your customers, which are only increasing. You have a built-up demand to better service the needs of your internal employees, which are only increasing. And you have a built-up demand of being able to recruit future employees and/or future customers, and becoming a digital business, or becoming a paperless business, or becoming a much more efficient global business, or becoming a disruptor in your industry, or avoiding a disruptor in your industry is what it's all about. And so these are just the business changes that are all around us today. And whether it's Ubers of the world, or Amazons of the world, or whatever your local competitor is today or will be, you see this every day in your business lives. Now you add to that accelerating technology change. And accelerating technology change becomes technology opportunities. It also becomes technology threats for security threats. And it comes in a whole new way of thinking about how do you utilize data within your enterprise as a competitive advantage. So in addition to all those business process changes I talked about, think of the technology changes, and don't think of it in terms of how you use your enterprise systems today. Just think about how you deal with your everyday life today. So now at home, you have home devices that help you manage your home. You have Alexa at home, you have Google at home. Think of how your shopping experience, you have Amazon for shopping carts, you have next day or same day delivery of different things. The way you operate with your personal device, your home and your schedule, or your phone and your schedule. You can now talk to your phone. You have Siri. Every question that you have, you really can literally ask that as a question, verbalizing by speaking to a device, and get an answer or get some direction. And more those directions are becoming predictive, where more and more your devices are suggesting things to you in your personal life. You pick up your phone in the morning and it now tells you, oh, I think you're going to go into work. It's going to take you 25 minutes to get into work. You pick up your phone in the afternoon and it tells you, oh, you have an appointment. I suggest you set an alarm. You miss a phone call, it sends you a reminder going forward. More and more the way these devices are working in your personal life is not only do you interact with them through conversation, but they are predicting the behavior you will have and suggesting that. So what we're doing to the enterprise system is to provide the exact same capabilities in your enterprise system, and I'll give you several examples of that. Now you add to this, that level of technology change, underneath is cybersecurity threats. So security for technology, unfortunately, is not a static thing. It's not like, well, you protect your home, I got a lock on my door, I'm good. The cybersecurity is an ever-evolving set of security threats. And so in the cloud, what Oracle does, it's our profession and our expertise is to ensure all of our cloud customers are always up to date with all the latest security threats. And how can we do that? Well, everybody in our cloud runs the exact same version of things. So when we issue a fix and we update to the latest technology, we do it on behalf of all 18,000 customers that we have running in the cloud today. And we can do that with one research effort and one technology effort. And we can do that so that we can now assure that you are more secure in our cloud than you could really ever be on-premise. And the reason for that is, again, simple economics. If you're doing that for your own local on-premise, you have to research all the threats, you have to secure your environment, you have to do that times one customer. It's a very, very expensive operation to keep up to date with all that technology. Or can we do that on behalf of all of our customers simultaneously? And the third element of change then is data. So my data analogy is as follows. In the old days, we used to have maps. Those of you still in the audience, and by map, I mean like a piece of paper map, for those of you who remember that. And then technology came along and said, well, we can make maps better. And there came products like Google Maps, where you didn't have to carry the piece of paper. It was an electronic map, and it would tell you where you wanted to go. And that was quite effective. That was digitizing, that was off of paper. But the fundamental flaw there was it didn't use data. So then came applications like Waze, which was the same thing as Google Maps. It was still an electronic map, but instead of just a static map that always showed you here's how you get from point A to point B, it took into account all kinds of public information. What is the traffic patterns? Where is there people slowing down here today, right now? So that now you can get a dynamic map, not just off a piece of paper digitized, but a dynamic map that incorporates data, both internal to your system, where are you and where are you going, and external to your system, where is everybody else and where are they going, to give you the best map solution. So think of the same use of data with your enterprise system. Here's your data, here's the negotiation you have with your supplier, but here is all the external data we know about that supplier as well. And might that external data change how you interact with that given supplier? Does it have you take an early payment discount? Does it have you negotiate a longer payment term? How do you interact with that supplier, not just knowing, okay, we're going to do that digitally or electronically, but how do you interact taking into account all kinds of data that's out there? So when you combine the two things, business dynamic and business pressure change, technology change going forward, we believe very strongly the only way to outpace change is to have a system which automatically updates and automatically keeps you on the latest versions going forward, and our system is the Oracle Cloud. Now, how at Oracle do we do this, and what are some unique differentiators we do this? Because you might say, okay, great, that's cloud. What does Oracle bring that the other cloud vendors don't? And I'm going to detail 5 or so different areas going forward. The first is we feel very strongly we have the most complete cloud available today for applications. And what do I mean by that? So in the Oracle Cloud, you have a complete end-to-end from CRM, sales, service, marketing, through to supply chain, both manufacturing, logistics, transportation planning, and core manufacturing, inventory management, costing, as well as finance and the full back office, including EPM, budgetary control, planning, and a complete set of HR applications, all built for a global enterprise. So whether you run locally or you run globally, not only with things like languages and currency, of course, but with local statutory regulations and local statutory considerations or best business practice, and all running in cloud with over 20 data centers located around the world, including several here in the Gulf region. And we have others if you're a global company inside the United States, outside the United States, in Asia, in Latin America, literally around the globe, data centers so that you can run your business completely going forward. Why does this matter? Well, when I talked about the increase in demand of a customer, I just thought I'd give you many, many, many interactions that you have with your customers or your employees span a traditional business process. And a feature we recently added called service logistics, let me give you one example of that. So let's suppose that you are a cable operator and you provide service to everybody's cable TV for home. And you have an issue, you have a repair. And that's what service logistics is. So it may at the surface seem like a reasonably simple problem, and the challenge is you have to schedule the person to arrive at the house to do the repair on time, okay? And we have a product we call field service that's explicitly doing there. I called with a problem, you scheduled the repair person to come out. Well, that's one part of the problem. The second part of the problem, however, happens, what if we know, based on the diagnostics, that it's a complicated repair? Well, then we have to know, well, what skill set do we need of the repair person to actually address the problem? So then you need a skills matrix in our HR system, which tracks the skills of the repair people together with their availability to be able to arrive at your location on time. Well, but then what if you also know that the problem is not just that it's a repair, but you need another part? Well, then you have to have a logistics system or an inventory management system which allows you to coordinate, okay, the person with the skill set is going to be able to be at this location at this time, but also the part is going to be able to be there that they need available to them at the same time, because it does you no good to send out the repair person without the part. Add further complexity, what if you need to manufacture that part? You're a manufacturing organization, and to actually build the part, or to actually give the part, you need to build the part or source it to have it built so that it can be repaired. So you have to have a certain lead time. So you need to have the lead time to build the part, when it's going to be scheduled at the location, together with the person with the skill set to go forward. So a very, very simple request of let's schedule a repair person to come out. You need service, so I can log the issue. You need field service. You need logistics. You need transportation management. You need scheduling, and you need manufacturing product. And our service logistics, the entirety, because we have the complete suite of application, allows us to run that complete end-to-end business process. And that's one example of many that by having the most complete suite, we allow you as a customer to choose what makes sense to adopt and how to get the most benefit from that adoption. But we don't stop there. So I hinted before that now it's not just transactions, but it's also data. So we think we have the most complete view of data as well. And by data, I mean the following. We, of course, have transaction data. So let me be very clear on this. Oracle does not look at, and we have no single person who can see your data. In other words, when you have your applications in Oracle Cloud, we cannot have a single human being who sees your data. However, our programs can access your data, and our computer programs will make predictions based on that data to better route requests and to better make suggestions to you as far as how you would run your business. But we don't just stop there. We now have supplemented your internal data with an acquisition we have called DataFox. And DataFox mines a little bit over 5 million websites a month for the latest data about different companies all over the world. It has what their executive teams are, it has their latest earnings reports, it has any news, and it uses that data to give you suggestions on how to deal with customers, or how to deal with them as suppliers, or how to deal in the supply chain. And we not only have business data, we also have consumer data, anonymized consumer data specific to allow you to target marketing towards individuals. And you probably all see this evidence every day in your own use. If you go to a website, you probably see later on an advertisement for that website pop up. That's very likely the Oracle Data Cloud behind the scenes, allowing companies to do targeted marketing, not to you, an individual, but to an anonymous device or an anonymous ID that we can track. So, how does this surface? In our CX applications, we now have what we call CX Unity, which is the first true customer 360 view of a customer. And by true customer 360 view, the reason why we believe this to be true is it not only encompasses the data that you have about your individual customer, but it also incorporates any data that we have about that customer from externally available sources, and it's supplemented with data that may be industry-wide. Again, by broad sets of data, not only of the individual customer you do business with, but their competitors, or their peers, if you will, and what's happening in that business. So we believe that the best way for you to make better business decisions is for us to fully automate the process end-to-end, for us to not only incorporate your data, but to incorporate all the data that's available publicly in the world, much like, again, Waze versus Google Maps, and then to give you the automation and machine learning to push those suggestions to you to better operate your business. This is how outpacing change with a complete suite of applications looks like. Okay. So with that, I'd like to welcome on stage our first customer. Please join me in welcoming the VP of Dubai World Trade Center, our host here, Farid Farouk. I'd invite him to come on stage and join me for the first part. And while he's walking up, let's go ahead and have a short video of the World Trade Center so you can get some background there.
Dubai World Trade Center connects people, products, and ideas from around the world. We are the region's ideal and foremost events destination. Every year, we host over 500 events welcoming more than 3 million visitors. And we offer unparalleled experience in organizing, managing, and producing events in the heart of the city. We are Dubai World Trade Center, connecting the world since 1979.
Thank you for joining us, Farid. Yep. Thank you for joining us. I feel a little bit, I don't know whether normally I'm the host for this, but we are in your venue, so I don't know if I'm the host or you're the host, but I guess we could host each other. Is that okay?
I mean, we're happy to have you with us.
We're thrilled to be here.
Welcome to Dubai World Trade Center.
Yes, thank you. So we're all obviously sitting here, but maybe you can give us a little bit of your background, your role as CTO, and then some view of Dubai World Trade Center for those in the audience who aren't familiar.
Yes, my name is Farid Farouk. I am the Vice President of Technology here at Dubai World Trade Center. And you're right, Steve. The fact that your event is hosted with us, we can proudly say that today you are our customer.
Yeah.
I'm also the head of innovation, in which we are trying to find the game changers to really take the customer experience to the next level. So if hopefully by end of your event, if you tell me you had a wow experience here with us, I would say that our aim is to improve that experience by tenfold next year. Just briefly about Dubai World Trade Center, our story began in 1979 with the inauguration of Rashid Tower, which was by then the tallest tower in the region. And you were also, Oracle was one of our tenants in that tower for some period of time. We also inaugurated one exhibition hall only in 1979. The ruler's vision at that time was to make Dubai World Trade Center the leading destination for events, exhibitions, and conferences. And here we are now, what you see. Our space is 1.3 million square foot of exhibition space. We actually attracted 3 million customers last year, coming from 185 countries. We hosted 50,000 exhibitors across all our events happening throughout the year. And I can proudly say that 22 of the largest exhibitions in the region is hosted with us.
Wow.
So we ended up building that business networking platform, which not only create, host, and manage events, but also provide all the services around it, like hospitality, commerce, and the list goes on.
Yeah. It's quite a change then from 79 until now. I guess tourism, both business and consumer tourism, is a huge part of the city and the growth of the city and adding to the culture. Maybe you can talk about the tourism industry and how competitive it is, the local and the global dynamics. What trends do you see happening nowadays in 2020? When you say 10x experience, what type of things are you hearing from your customers? Are you trying to provide from your customers to differentiate, if you will, versus, let's say, your competitors?
Yeah, I mean, let's pick on one word you mentioned, which is 2020.
Yeah.
I mean, 2020 will be a challenging year. The views are mixed between optimism and pessimism. Some see downturn, while others see growth. We decided at Dubai World Trade Center to look at the latter and look for opportunities. We believe that the world has to progress somehow, and the only way for us to survive is to change ourselves. You mentioned also about the global trends that are happening. Yes, we are taking that seriously. We know technology is becoming more intelligent. Interactions are becoming digital.
Yeah.
And as you mentioned in your speech, habits are changing with millennials and Generation Z. So what are we doing about it? We want to use analytics to really understand our customer intention. We want to use AI to make the right decision. And we want to continuously provide that state-of-the-art digital experience. We believe we are not just a physical venue. Merging the physical with the digital is one of our top priorities in the years ahead.
So let's drill a little bit into that, because I think you're reasonably unique, or maybe very, very broad. Who do you consider your customers?
Yeah, our customer base is quite diverse. We have the exhibitors who come here to showcase their products and services.
Oracle.
And yourself.
Yep.
In the various events, being technology, food, healthcare, construction, and the list goes on. We have visitors who come visit those events,
Yep.
like yourselves. If you walk in our venue in a busy day, you could see high-ranking policymakers, you could see prominent global business leaders, international financiers, C-level decision maker, and also entrepreneurs who are hunting for opportunities. Our third category of customers are our tenants who established a long-term relationship with us. Those are the companies who are having offices with us, like established businesses, government entities, SMEs, and startups.
So it's pretty broad. It's literally everything from Oracle ourselves, like Oracle the company, to everybody in the audience as individuals.
Yes.
Now, with that broad a customer base, what do you give me? Is there a way you can describe to me like the trends of their expectations and and how you're trying to stay ahead of those expectations?
Yeah, customers are truly nowadays looking for value. We all know the business environment is very challenging these days. So they are pressured to achieve their targets. So if we want to win the customer, we have to showcase to them the value we're bringing on the table. Take technology, for example. Customers do not upgrade now for the bells and whistles, but they upgrade to really allow technology to take them to the next level, to make them achieve their target faster. For us, our value is to ensure that this, like today, 2 days of your event, or 3 days, or some of the exhibitions are 5 days. Those 5 days are successful for our customers. If we take an exhibitor, for example, we want to give him the right space at the right price and bring for them as well the right customer, the right visitors. It is not easy, but we aim to always achieve that.
Okay. Now, obviously, we're a technology partner of yours and of a lot of the customers in the audience. With those increasing demands, with that broad set of customer base, how have you used technology to try to stay ahead of that?
Yeah. We actually are a heavy user of Oracle CX Cloud. It's simple. With Oracle CX Cloud, we don't just reach out to our customer. We actually try to understand their interactions, their intentions. And this is very powerful for us because it allows us to tailor-make the messages that we send for them. And it will improve the chances of converting him to a registered visitor. And this creates a win-win for all of us. For the visitor, because he will end up coming to the event that suits him. He'll end up promoting the event to his peer. And for us as Dubai World Trade Center, because we end up increasing the footfall to our events with the right segmented customers.
Right. So who knows? Maybe some of the audience today, they have a good time. They see something about the facility. They have their own conference here, or they have equivalent.
Yes.
Like that. And what do you see as next steps for you in terms of Oracle? What more can we do as a vendor to help you along this journey?
We actually want you to help us understand our customer more.
Yep.
We want you to help us to grab their digital interaction. And we want you to help us to use data to make the right decision. Once again, I'm going to mention it again. 2020 is a challenging year. We have a lot of strategic initiative laid down for that. Oracle, honestly, has been a partner with us for the past years, and they will continue being a partner with us for the next years ahead.
Yep. No, I saw you taking a photograph of the CX Unity part, so we'll
I
talk
already
to you
sent it to my team.
So we're already real-time presentation skills. Fareed, thank you. Can't thank you enough for all the partnership, and thank you for hosting us. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Take care. Bye-bye.
So what Fareed talked about a little bit, let me talk about the next step. I talked about the most complete, which we believe is an advantage for Oracle. Now let me tell you about what we believe is the best technology. And there's lots of parts of Oracle that's best technology. What I'm going to focus on now is what we feel in applications is how to leverage that technology and surface it in a way that helps our customers most. And the term that's in the industry right now is AI or artificial intelligence. I prefer to use machine learning. I think it's a little bit more technically accurate. But regardless, there's a whole host of technologies that are coming around now that are pretty commonplace. And I'm going to focus on a few. But literally everything you see on the chart, from digital assistants to IoT to blockchain to the autonomous database and services, are in our native parts of our cloud applications, which are evolving and getting stronger and stronger over time. And let me focus in on just a couple of them. The first is explain our approach to AI or machine learning. So the myths versus the reality. And I think to simplify this slide quite a bit, don't think about, or at least we're not approaching AI as, oh my gosh, here's going to be the AI and it's going to completely automate everything and you're going to go from 1,000 people doing this job to 0 people doing this job. There's robotics and there's things like that. What we are talking about is AI, which allows you to make smarter business decisions, allows you to spend more time actually doing your job and less time doing administrative work, and an AI which allows you to make incremental benefits and changes in not only how you use the application, or business decisions that you make from the application. So our approach is pretty simple. We take data, again, whether it's your individual data or supplemented data that we provide to you as part of our service. We look for context. And by context, we look for repetitive context to be able to make predictions. And then we make predictions to make it either easier or to allow you to do things you couldn't ever do before. And we've literally done this across all of the applications. And I'll give you just a few examples. So in Salesforce automation, we make predictability on leads that you have. And that's not just predictability, okay, here's a lead and here's a chance they're going to actually buy something. We look at patterns and context. So you have certain salespeople who think things are closer to close, other salespeople who think things are further away from close. But given that particular context, we can make intelligent predictions. In marketing, we make next best offer or next best action going forward. In human resources, we use machine learning to do pattern matching so that you can look for candidates which have attributes which closely match successful candidates in the job you're trying to fill. So we don't automatically fill roles for you, but we give suggestions on here are the attributes which are common across people who have been successful in your organization in that job. And again, if you think about it in HR, with areas like LinkedIn, it's one of the places where there's the most available public data. So now when you make hiring decisions, when you make other decisions, you don't have to just look at the data you have in front of you. You could really compare it versus the entire world's data and try to make that best decision. And then once you've hired the person, we use machine learning to give you predictions to help guide you on how to manage that person by giving you prediction of success in performance and prediction of potential attrition that that person may leave. So in other words, we measure things like, well, how long has a person had the same manager? When's the last time they had a promotion? When's the last time they had a pay raise? When's the last time they went to a training session? And use that based on their peers and predict the likelihood that those people are happy in position and will stay, and can supplement what you do going forward. In financials, we've added predictability and machine learning around audit. So you can still do the random sample audit, but now we can use pattern matching to find suspicious transactions and surface those suspicious transactions for potential audit. We're using machine learning for cash management, so you can have a cash positioning not just based on somebody's intuition, but based on the machine learning patterns on cash management and incorporating external data like exchange rate information for cash management and exchange rate fluctuation, historic exchange rate fluctuation, seasonal exchange rate fluctuation, so that you can have these decisions, the system performing for you with your data, all the world's data, and machine learning pattern matching. And we've added these functions across the product suite. And here's some examples. So in field service, we've done over 600 million recommendations optimizations. In e-commerce, we have over 58 million product recommendations. In sales, over 4 million recommended next actions. In marketing, that 500,000 is vastly understated. That's counting very, very low. Real-time send information, on and on it goes. Now, probably the most noticeable spot for machine learning that you will see, and what I think will transform the way all of us use the systems today, is through our digital assistants. And what a digital, or some people might call them a bot or a chat bot. And the way to think of a digital assistant in the context of Oracle is we've literally enabled every transaction for you to start as a conversation, as a conversational transaction. And again, go back to your consumer device and think about how do you find out some bit of information today? You pick up your phone, hey Google, what's the weather like tomorrow? Hey Google, is there traffic here? Hey Siri, or hey Alexa, I'm not going to be biased. So whichever assistant you'd like to choose, Alexa, Siri, Google, etc. Any of those. Well, now imagine you could start asking, hey Oracle, where is X? And so today, you can do every single HR transaction starting from a digital assistant. Now, when I say starting from a digital assistant, what do I mean? Well, first off, the most common HR transactions are just questions. And you can do that end-to-end through a digital assistant with no human intervention. You want to know somebody's email address, you want to know their phone number, you want to know their office location, you want to know anything, you want to know who their manager is, who's on their team. The entire directory structure is now available to a digital assistant. So if you want to use SMS, if you want to use WhatsApp, if you want to use Alexa, if you want to use Siri, you can just speak into it, what is Steve Miranda's home address, email address? What is Steve Miranda's phone number? Who is on his team? You'll find everything about your organization in the directory service. Now, when we deployed that at Oracle, so our own directory service, what we wanted to do is we wanted to replace, we had an online directory, and that's how people kind of found out who's who and who's on people's team. And we did that. And we thought, well, that was done, and that's going to be nice. Then we started seeing some errors, and we couldn't figure out why we were getting so many errors. And what started to happen was people were asking it things that had nothing to do with a directory service. Is July 18th a holiday in the US at Oracle? Oh, do we get the third Tuesday off? Oh, what's my vacation balance? Oh, I want to take a leave. What's the leave policy? People were treating the digital assistant like you treat, hey Google, hey Alexa, hey Siri. They just expected it to know everything in your organization. So we added that. So now we've got everything in our HR applications you can initiate through a conversational UI. Now you might say, okay, but you said start every transaction. Some HR transactions are kind of complicated. So let's take a promotion transaction. Promotion transaction would be pretty complicated, right? They maybe have a new title. Maybe with the title they get a car allowance. Maybe they get a corner office. Maybe they have a team member, etc. But machine learning in context becomes very predictable. What do I mean by that? Well, at Oracle, in my group, we have lots and lots and lots of developers. Their titles are application developer. When I start a promotion for an application developer, what do you think I have to do? When the online form, I have to find the person's name, I have to say promotion, I have to fill out what their title is, etc. Well, in the digital assistant world, how does that look in the conversational world? Well, I just pick up my phone and I say, promote John. Well, the system knows that John is an application engineer. And the system also knows that 99.9% of people in my group, when they're an application engineer and they get promoted to a senior application engineer. So I didn't have to write anything. The system also knows that in California, when you have that kind of promotion, it does not come with a pay rise, or maybe it does come with a pay rise, and what the pay rise is going to be. So by using machine learning in context, I can say promote John. The machine comes back and says, oh, John's an application engineer. Promote John Smith. John Smith's an application engineer. I believe you want to promote him to senior application engineer. I believe that means John gets a bigger cube or a corner office, and John gets this kind of a bonus. Is that right? And I say yes, and I am done with that entire transaction. Or I say, you know what? Actually, this is a different situation. John's going to change roles. He's going to move something else, in which case I can just correct that machine learning. But I have a conversational UI. So across everything we're doing in HR, you have a digital assistant or a chatbot enabled through any channel, Slack, Siri, Alexa, etc. And what we found is in HR, every common question, every common transaction lends itself very nicely, such that we still have our HTML UIs, and I'll talk about those in a minute, and we think they're beautiful, and they're great, and they're easy to use. That said, within probably a next year to year and a half, I think we're going to be calling those our old-fashioned UIs, meaning the HTML UIs, because every transaction we'll have through HR will be through a digital assistant and bot. And in finance, something very similar. Maybe not necessarily for transactions, we're entering a PO or entering an order, but the way management gets reports. Again, all of you are used to on your phone right now, alerts popping up. Alert, alert, alert. When something happens, you get an alert. When there's a news, and you subscribe to the news. You care if you care about a sports team, or a cricket team, or a soccer team, or you care about the weather, or you care about politics, or you care about a local event. You subscribe, and when something happens, it alerts you. Think of your finance organization, exact same thing. We've enabled a digital assistant and bots with certain skills, and you tell us what you care about. I care about this cost center. I care about this budget. I care about this year-end report. And when something material changes, we issue that alert. and we surface it through a digital assistant, and you have it directly on your phone. So machine learning and digital assistant pervasively is going to change the way people use our applications. Okay, so with that, please join me in welcoming our next guest, Ellen Dubois. Ellen is the CHRO of Jumeirah Group. So while Ellen comes up on stage, again, let's take a short video of Jumeirah Group so you can learn about them. Ellen? I'm very jealous of your videos. The Oracle videos don't have that beauty of the beautiful locations. Maybe you can give the audience some background on your role and then Jumeirah Group in general so that people understand the size and scale and a little bit about yourselves.
Well, yes, of course. Hi, everyone. My name is Ellen Dubois-Dubillet, and I am the CHRO. I have the good pleasure of being in one of the most amazing industries in business, hospitality. I've had most of my career in human resources, but also in operations. And Jumeirah Group is a beautifully grown local hotel company. We are epitomized by our beautiful Burj Al Arab hotel at Jumeirah Beach. But we're a 20-year-old company, as I said, born in the UAE. But we have 25 hotels in 8 countries. Around 7,000 hotel rooms, 13,000 employees, 140 different nationalities. And our emphasis is really at the luxury end, experience hotel stays for guests, but also food and beverage and beautiful design.
So you probably get the theme of what we talk about, this continuous change. I'm sure I don't have to tell you, particularly in the luxury industry, the increasing demands of the customer base. Maybe you can describe, in the hospitality space where your job is, literally keep every customer happy, particularly at the luxury end. What are the dynamics that you see in your industry, and how are things changing?
Well, I mean, you obviously know that there are a lot of hotel rooms out there and a lot of opportunities and a lot of options for customers. So for us, what's really important is that we're able to differentiate ourselves, and we understand that nobody has any time anymore. Nobody has the luxury of time. It's the only real thing that you can give customers, and so we have to stay ahead of the game by providing people with the service that they'll come back for, but also beautiful surroundings and so on. And so some of the challenges for us is really just finding a way to differentiate ourselves, finding a way to attract customers who will come back to us because of the way in which they get service. And if you think about hospitality, in a big hotel, like one of our hotels here in Dubai, at Jumeirah, at the beach, there are about 6,000 opportunities in a day for an employee to interact with a customer. And 80% of those are unsupervised. So what's really important to us is that we have we spend a lot of time thinking about our employees. Of course, I work in HR, so you'd expect me to say that, but we have to find employees who fit with our values and are able to work in a way that doesn't require them to have someone right next to them telling them what they need to do.
Well, I can imagine. I mean, you got a happy employee dealing with a customer. It's one thing. If you have an unhappy employee, then having to deal with,
well, they probably
60,000 interactions.
About 6,000 interactions in a day.
Yeah.
And so it's a big surprise that more doesn't actually go wrong, to be honest.
Yeah, that's kind of why I giggled at that number. I'm frightened to see if my employee base had that many unsupervised interactions a day. So what's your strategy going forward? Let's say with your employee base, and how do you keep the focus on your employee base to best service those customers?
Well, I mean, one of the things we obviously want to do, any company wants to do, is to grow. And we've entered a phase of accelerated growth, both here in the UAE, but also globally. And obviously, in order to do that, we need to make sure that we have the right people ready to fuel that growth. And frankly, we shouldn't really be hiring them. We should be growing them. And it's very difficult for people like myself or my leadership team or others in the centre to know who our employees are. So having technology help us understand our employees, where they are, where they're up to in their career path, what they need next. As you said, being able to sort of say into an assistant, where is Steve today in his development plan? When is he going to be ready? Who's his mentor? Who can I talk to about him? So understanding our employee group and being able to help them have careers with us is what will differentiate us from the rest, because as I said, we have customers, we're like hosts in a house. We want people to know who they're coming back to. We want people to transfer our culture globally, and that only comes with, developing their careers with us.
Right. So, and I should say, you are coming from a very strong point. I want to get this right. You were Concentric's best employer. You won the best employer of the UAE award this past year, and I think so. That's a testament to the work that you're doing with your employees. Not only bringing in the best employees, but the happiest employees, and really the best place to work. So congratulations on that.
Thank you. Thank you.
And then, so, talk about the changes in the HR function then, and your priorities for the, not now the customer base, but your priorities for the HR function, and how you leverage technology and what you'd like to see more from technology.
Well, it's just really the speed. If anyone knows anything about hospitality, they'll know that we've come late to the technology game. Yep. We're an industry that was built on human interaction. Yep. And so if you look at our technology map, it looks like spaghetti. And so for us, technology is about standardizing applications across a broad range of people. It's about being able to make it global, so being able to operate in those other jurisdictions. Yep. And it's about simplifying it and making it accessible for people on a mobile application, because those 6,000 interactions, most people in hospitality don't have a desk. Yeah,
almost all, I would assume. You
Very
got two
few
people at the front desk.
Exactly.
And even that's going away now in hospitality.
Exactly. So they're on their feet, they're in front of the customer, and they need to be able to access information very quickly.
Yeah. And so, so can you tell me about how has Oracle helped you with that partnership, or what should we be doing more? Like, what expectations, what do you want to see more from Oracle in order to help you further that success? Obviously, you have it with your employees, and then that's showing through with your customers, given your brand name and awareness. But how's Oracle been so far, and maybe insights how could we do better?
Well, I think we have obviously HCM. We're just implementing now talent management and learning management. And so how Oracle can help us is really to help us sort through all of the data that we have about our employees. It's all there. Yeah. But I think with all the data that comes at us all of the time, it's really important that you help us translate that into action. So, if I'm looking up information, or if I need to find out information, how do I use it to the best outcomes? And how do I connect it to the right people so that they can use it? I think there's an enormous amount of support. I think the product, and obviously being in the cloud, is really important to us, and it's a responsible thing to do. But how do I connect all the pieces of data within my HCM and other systems to make the best decision? I need from you data translation services, actually.
Well, it's kind of funny. That's why people always talk about machine learning and AI and how it's going to change the world. It's like, actually, if we just do very simple things better, like you said, find out that key employee who looks like they're doing great, but just for whatever reason don't have the right mentor or haven't received the right training. And all of a sudden, if you just knew it a little bit in advance that person was at risk, you could take some corrective action, and you're happier, they're happier.
And most top talent, when they leave your company, you say to them, why are you leaving? I have got this great, future for you, and they say, well, I didn't know.
Until it's too late, exactly.
Too late, yeah. So.
Exactly. Well, that should be great. So we're very focused on that.
Yes.
Okay, great, Ellen. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay, so I said that the HTML UI is going to be old-fashioned soon, but they're not old-fashioned yet, and we put a lot of focus on our user interface. And let me just show you a short video to describe some of what we're doing in terms of the user interface design. This past Openworld in San Francisco, we announced what we called Redwood, which is a whole new look of really all parts of Oracle. And you see it a little bit on the stage with the O. You'll start to see the little O surface on all of our UIs at the bottom. And that O is basically, ironically enough, the Ask Oracle icon now. So that digital assistant, that conversational UI, you initiate your launch from all of the user interfaces. And now going forward, what you'll start to see is those of you who are in our cloud applications know that every quarter you get incremental updates, incremental releases. You'll now start to see the look and feel be refreshed every quarter with the colors being more modernized. You'll see things that become commonplace in your consumer UIs or in Google where you ask a question and it does an autocomplete or suggests what the question is. Now in your transactional UIs, you'll have that surface. You'll have modern business intelligence reporting, and a whole set of improvements across the design. And the focus of our design and modern UX is really to focus on how to make you more efficient and more effective, and hopefully actually enjoy getting your job done through a UI that responds to you. And maybe, I know we're an enterprise application, so it may be too much to say, well, I hope our end users enjoy it. But I think we would all agree if you dealt with UIs that are just not good and not intuitive, not productive, you certainly can have the experience of where you don't enjoy it. And these refreshes of the user interfaces has been a big focus for us for the most modern user interface. So I've covered a few of the areas, the most complete capabilities, the best technology for capabilities, how we're using machine learning to supplement that. Now is the part, and really the most focus of my entire team in development, and I would say the biggest shift culturally we're going through at Oracle. And this is with customers first. And by that, I mean the following. I always have said, and I've been at Oracle a little over 27 years, and from the very beginning, whenever I talk to a customer, I would say, well, we want to be an extension to your IT group. But frankly, when we were an on-premise vendor, our customers would take it, they would be on a release that was maybe 2, 3, 5, 10 years old. They'd maybe done some customization. The development team had very little insight in what you were doing. We were very arm's length. Today, we run the software on your behalf. You're always on the latest release. We are constantly updating you. We are measuring how we do in those updates. And by measuring, we see which features people use, we see which features people don't use. If features aren't being used, we try to find out why, or we prune the feature, or we adjust the feature on a go-forward basis. We're learning from what we see, and we have a very, very close correspondence with that customer. And by putting customers first and better servicing them, we've got a tremendous focus on a few things. First off, the quarterly updates. So the quarterly updates ensure that every quarter you have our latest fixes, security concerns, and brand new features. And we have that always available out to you, and it's very predictable. So that every quarter on a very predictable timeline, you know when you're going to get your update. You have it published to you month before as far as all the new features. And every new feature is what we call opt-in, so that you can tell us when you go to sleep on a Friday afternoon, a Friday evening, and you wake up Saturday morning, the system works identically to the way you left it. But if you choose to, you can opt into features and have those features available to you. And we're adding hundreds of features per product every quarter to give us immediate feedback, to fine-tune those features, to push them out the next quarter going forward. And so everything I've talked about today, now that we have a predictable cadence and a predictable frequent cadence, you don't have to sit around and wait for, well, when is the machine learning release from Oracle available? We have machine learning out today. And we have machine learning in the areas I dictated, and we're adding every quarter a little more. And the nature of machine learning, every quarter it'll get a little bit better. Well, we say, well, when is the Redwood UI coming out? We've just started the Redwood UI. You'll see it in 20C, and every quarter you'll see it increment and get a little bit better and better and better. And then the final push is to get to zero downtime. So in this calendar year, we reduced our quarterly downtime, the downtime that everybody has to have, we cut it in half. In 2020, we're going to cut it in half again. That should get us to under 2 hours a quarter. And then beyond 2020, we'll reduce that even further to basically a near zero downtime, so that you'll have all these continuous updates, brand new features, brand new UI, zero technical debt, because behind the scenes we're updating hardware, operating systems, et cetera, and allow you going forward. And then finally, we've introduced Customer Connect, so that Customer Connect allows every single one of our customers to register as many users as you want at no cost to our Customer Connect platform. It's a platform that has our product managers and our system implementer partners, and they discuss the product. So our customers give us good ideas. That's where we get our enhancement requests. We have customers talking to other customers about what they've done business process-wise or best practice or getting ideas and sharing going forward. It's a community of now over 100,000 customers and partners. And there's a voting mechanism such that if there's a popular idea, it goes directly into our product managers who then respond. And you don't have to wait for, well, what's the feature going to look like? Our product managers will respond online, share the designs with you. You get to give us feedback on those designs. So essentially, any user within your organization with the right idea that gets voted on works with our product managers to add features. And then now a significant fraction of our features are going forward are coming directly from our 100,000 active users who are giving us ideas into feedback what we ought to do with the product. And as we've rolled out the digital assistants or the bots, the ideas are just coming faster and furious because now it's a brand new technology and people are giving us new ways of thinking about it, and we're passing that on to you and to all of our customers. And the evidence is showing, and this is really a sample list. I have a few customers who've spoken on our behalf today. Again, I invite you to show the videos, but literally these are customers who've made the move to the Oracle Cloud. Most of these customers came from EBS or PeopleSoft, and then some of the customers have come from third-party systems, and including our competitors, SAP, Sage, Lawson, Infor, et cetera. But in just about every industry. So these are customers who are live on the Oracle Financial, Lloyd's of London, Lloyd's Banking Group, Santander Bank, HSBC, PwC and the partners. You see at the hospitality suite a list of companies, transportation management, retail customers, higher education customers. Very similar if you move on to HR, again, financial service organizations, Principal Financial, Citizen Bank, JP Morgan Chase, high technology customers like Akamai and BMC, media, kind of a who's who of media, AT&T, MTM, Hearst Communication and Media. Again, another long list of hospitality and travel organizations, transportation management, really a who's who of retail from Tiffany, Williams-Sonoma, Landmark Group here in the region, Macy's, again, higher education. These are for our CRM customers. So again, these are live cloud customers at Oracle today. Again, all industries, all backgrounds, all geography, large customers, small customers moving forward. These are our supply chain manufacturing customers. So I know many of you were waiting for the supply chain manufacturing products to come out. So these are people who use our supply chain and manufacturing. So obviously here, you don't see the banking because it's more geared towards manufacturing organizations or distribution organizations. So these are folks who are using that partner cloud, including Oracle, who I'll talk about in a moment. But before I get more into Oracle, let me invite my last guest up. So let me invite Mike Bashkaran. Mike is from DP World, who'll tell us a little bit about his industry and their challenges as well. And as Mike comes up, let's play a short video of DP World.
Meet Vinod. He's responsible for delivering 10 million cars to customers around the world each year. Sounds like a paperwork nightmare.
Not really.
That's because DP World is constantly finding ways to make trade easier for our customers. We provide supply chain solutions all over the world, partnering with our customers to give them a competitive advantage. We're replicating our successful integrated ports and logistics model across the globe, all of which helps economies and communities grow where we operate. And now, through our global education program, we're teaching the next generation about global trade. So how's the future looking, Reggie?
Exciting!
DP World, creating the future, now.
So thanks for joining us, Mike. I wonder, one thing the video doesn't capture is just the scale of DP World. We were talking about it a little bit earlier. Maybe you can give the audience a little bit of your background, role there, and then a little bit about DP World.
I'll do that. Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you, Steve, and the Oracle team for having me. I really appreciate it. DP World, the way I'd call it, is a global trade enabler. We provide a lot of port services, and also provide free zone services right now for our customers, and now more and more into developing unique solutions for our customers. And our customers are a combination of liners, freight forwarders, cargo owners, all of the above. We are, like you said, the scale is very fascinating. In over 40 plus countries, 80 plus terminals all over the world, and then thousands of dollars of trade actually goes through our network, which is very, very exciting to be. So thank you again for having us.
Yeah, and I think it's many billions of dollars of freight that go through your, or in fact maybe over billions of dollars of freight.
Thank you for the clarification.
Yeah. No, it's a very, very large operation. So much like the theme we've been talking about, your industry is going through transformation, and maybe less apparent to the audience. It's an industry and maybe some people don't know about. Maybe can you talk about the transformation or the challenges that you think DP World is facing?
I think our customers one of the things that they want is faster delivery, on-time delivery, repeatable, and then it's just like having visibility for the cargo from end to end.
Yep.
I think the acceleration of flow of goods from anywhere to anywhere. There's so much time-sensitive freight. A lot of freight that we move from farm to table, perishable in nature, becomes extremely important for the customers to know where the freight is and how quickly we can get it to them on time through the ports. That context and providing visibility and transparency and then speed of delivery is extremely important in our business. And those are some of the things that we're trying to challenge and then make it better day in and day out.
Okay. So, I mean, all of us probably see the end result of that, but we don't realize all the work that takes to get it there. With those are the challenges, what is DP World's approach? How do you plan to address some of those challenges?
I think some of the things that you mentioned is digitization is extremely, extremely important. I think one of the things is whether we use a terminal operating system, the least number of moves that we have to make from a ship to the shore, and then subsequently moving the container to the facilities of our customers, whether it's freight forwarders or liners, and providing visibility end to end. And also the port community system, which actually shows how easy it is to go back and do ease of business with us. So how easily can we enter our facilities and leave our facilities, and then just be a tenant in our free zones or what have you. All of these things require standardization and digitization. And then, of course, leveraging the Oracle ERP to find a single source of truth and how we balance, and then all the way to a simple thing as naming convention and how do we standardize it, leveraging a product is equally important.
So, we talked a little about this earlier, and I think people in some industries see it very easily. Obviously, Uber is the example of like, hey, it disrupted the industry for transportation or taxi and things like that. How do you see in your industry, in the age of disruptors, how do you see DP World playing as a disruptor? Are you defending against, or how are you changing the landscape? Or is it something like, hey, it's a shipping container industry, it's very relatively static?
No, there is a lot of dynamics of this industry in terms of trade flow and then how things move based on, so the trade flow will always happen, whether it's geopolitics or how the processes are. And it's our job to go back and find alternative ways of, effective ways of routing and rating and finding the best solutions for our customers from anywhere to anywhere. So that will continue to happen in our business. And the best opportunity for that, you mentioned a lot of really good tools about like machine learning and identifying, knowing your customer, how they're shipping products, how quickly does a product which is actually perishable needs to get into a grocery store or what have you, and how do we enable to ensure that we're saving time in every leg of our supply chain becomes very, very critical. So I think leveraging machine learning, knowing your customer, and then building an accelerated platform are all key things that we need to use for disruption.
And then, again, we're obviously a technology company, we're a partner of yours. Maybe describe to the group how you're using and how you plan to use Oracle as part of that digitization/disruption process.
So I think we just started the journey of implementing Oracle Fusion. We've been an Oracle partner for a while. We use CRM of your products earlier on, and then in variety of our ports, we use like either the procurement or finance or some of these modules right now. But now unifying this and then having the ability to go back and then track your either financial expenditure through and through, or identifying like the locations and then or going like closing out like our financial statements, all of the above are going to be significant digital automation that we'll be doing and leveraging. And what it translates to is like how quickly can we in turn deliver products faster to our customers. So I think you've given us a really good base and foundation. We just finished the first deployment and we're excited about continuing on this journey.
Okay. Now, I probably should have done this at the beginning, but what we saw here in the customers today, all customers used all parts of it, but really frankly at the beginning, with the Dubai World Trade Center, they're focused on our CRM use of applications. Then what Ellen talked about was largely our HR use of applications, and now you're really talking about the Fusion ERP. Set of applications. So what about, I talked a little bit about IoT and some blockchain, other emerging technologies from your perspective, CTO of a dynamic industry. What are the emerging technologies that you have your eye on, or do you want Oracle to like focus on to help you as it comes about?
I think both IoT as well as blockchain that you mentioned are extremely important for us. The immutability of the data and making sure that, how do we go back and ensure a record level encryption for a variety of data that is like so customer centric right now. We want to leverage more and more of the blockchain for shipment documentation or some of the things that you mentioned about like finance earlier on. All of the above have like very good applications right now. We would love to partner with you on that. And IoT has got like really, whether it's just like the location of a container or how do we go back and how fresh is the product in a container. There's so many devices that's actually coming in terms of looking at visibility, not only in the port for safety purposes and how quickly we can actually come into the port for identity management. There's tremendous amount of opportunities in terms of vision systems and IoT. We would love your help as it relates to that.
Yeah, it's kind of amazing. I kind of think of your company or industry as basically physical locations for containers.
Right.
And all of a sudden you need to know what's in the container, is there an expiry date, how to move it quickly. I mean, you've become a technology company, if you will.
Absolutely are. And then I think it's just like the foundations of building a technology company comes with a strong ERP, and that's where you guys are supporting. And then not to add a prop for you guys, but it is like, I think so overall the journey has been like very pleasant to work with you guys. I think you've done a fantastic job for us.
That's fantastic. Thank you for joining us. All right, appreciate it, Mike. Thank you.
Guys.
Okay, and then finally, so what I tried to talk today about was, and hopefully you've got the general theme, and you got it across a number of different customers in different industries, and you see it yourselves every day as consumers. Your expectations go up, your choices are up, your flexibility to change is up, And so the ability to change your businesses much more dynamically and be much more customer focused is key. Between providing you the most complete solution, the technology the best solution, incorporating data, and with the UI, and our customer focus, we believe Oracle can do that for you. And the final element is, we really feel strongly is the time is now. And we understand that we have many customers who have been very loyal with us through our on-premise applications. Some of you do not use any Oracle applications. The reason we feel the time is now is we feel we are ready. We're ready product-wise in terms of the technology and capabilities. We have programs designed specifically, like our SOAR program, to migrate our existing install base from one of our products to our cloud-based products to deliver you solution. And importantly, we have reference customers for you to talk to who've gone through a very similar journey. And with that, the last customer element, which I'll talk about today, is really Oracle. So to give you an idea, at Oracle, we run the entirety of our business across our cloud software. We run it in the same data center as our customers. We run it with the same update as our customers. It's on the exact same version. To give you an idea of scope, we are a roughly 130,000 employee company. We run all of our HR processes on the same HR product that Ellen described going forward. We are also a manufacturing business. We manufacture Exadata, kind of assembled order, if you will, but we also have a micros business, a point of sale. So we manufacture commodity business. We run all of our manufacturing in the same instance of our cloud. We are a roughly $40 billion run rate company. We do all of our public company. We do all of our financials in our public cloud. And for the last 2 quarters, and now the plan is on a go-forward basis, we not only had our books closed and audited for the quarter, but we had all of our SEC and reporting paperwork and our conference call done, everything end-to-end in 11 days. Not 11 working days. 11 days after the end of our quarter, we had reported to all of our statutory authorities and filed the paperwork, so all the book closing was done completely for our earnings and conference call. Again, all in the same instance of cloud. We have tens of thousands of salespeople, all of our leads forecasting done through our CRM system in our cloud. We have our Oracle Consulting, which is a reasonably large professional service business, all of our billing to our customers and charging of time done through our project management system in the same cloud. So we are a case study now for all of you to look at if you want to know best practices in implementing HR or finance or manufacturing or CRM or our project application, project billing, where we can't represent all industries, we can represent a large number of industries and give you a global company operating in just about every country in the world at a grand scale using the exact same software we're recommending to you, our customers, getting those exact same updates and all those benefits. So with that confidence, the time is now. I very much thank you for your attention, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the conference. Thank you.